Hello and welcome to a new campaign here in Old World Blues, and this time I will be using the submod East Coast Rebirth. So, single player, new game, and I am presented with a new option to play on the East Coast. Now these are some of the nations that are available to play in the submod. For me, there's no other choice to make except to go for the DC Brotherhood of Steel, and a brief history about them before we start. A lot has changed since Elder Lyons and his team of paladins, knights and scribes first made their way to the capital wasteland. They have faced years of brutal conflict with the super mutants, completely cut off of support from back west, and recently the departure of a large amount of men now called outcasts. The loss of these men and resources has meant the tightening of belts and the relaxing of recruiting and training standards. Initiates from all across the wasteland find their way to the citadel, hoping to fight the good fight. But for every new soldier that steps into full suit of power armor, one new initiate is killed in a battle with super mutants or raiders of the DC ruins. These are trying times for the Lyons chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel, but still those under his command believe if anyone can lead them through this dark tunnel, it is him. Okay, so here we are. Let's have a quick look at the Brotherhood of Steel. So we start off with Outcast Schism, which gives me plus 50% division attrition, plus 250% to my military leader cost, but minus 50% to my training level. Super Mutant Crusade, which gives me army experience plus 20%, minus 5 manpower each week, and war support plus 15%. And lastly, GNR Propaganda, so recruitable population factor plus 5%, division recovery rate plus 25%, that's big, and 10% extra stability. Now some things I've picked up is I do not get any research advisor. I only have the one conscription law for initiates, no economy law, which means no negatives, so as soon as I can I'll jump up to well-equipped army. I also have a unique indoctrination press law, and I'll start with knightly armaments, which will boost not only the effectiveness of my power armor but also its research speed. For decisions, it's remarkably sparse. Bottle cap economy is quite small. I don't get a scavenging program option, which I would have really liked. I have started my intelligence agency. For research, I get 3 slots. I'm starting with gliders and then doing a construction and a research. I do start with basic energy weapons and strip power armor, which is quite nice, as well as assortment of support equipment. No land doctrine has been researched, no aircraft, only basic canoe hulls. And then my tech levels, everything is intermediate except for power armor, which goes up to sophisticated. For construction, I'm starting off with building a naval base here at the citadel. I will show you why shortly. And then I have just an even spread of civilian and military workshops, starting from the most industrialized down to the least. Production wise, basic laser guns, strip power armor, anti-tank rifles, and I'm going to be using robots for my garrison units, so starting off producing some scrap bots ahead of time. This is red here, not because I'm not constructing, it's because I have no ports. So even though I have 4 dockyards, I have no ports and no navy, so that is why I'm building the naval base first. Template wise, I have power armor template, standard 10 width. These seem to be the stock ones that you get with most Brotherhood nations. along with anti-tank. Then I have the night patrol 6 with, also with anti-tank. Initiate patrol I won't be using. It's also 6 with anti-tank. Then special forces division, I'm going to turn that off. And then my light robot division is currently just a 12 with light robots. As for my starting military, I start with 5 units, 2 power armor, 2 infantry, 1 initiate, which I'm going to change to a night patrol and set them to train so I can get as much army experience as possible, so I can get the night patrol at least up to 10 width. For military leaders, I only get the 1, so I'm not going to assign now. I'm going to promote it to my commanding officer as soon as I get up to 40 command power, Elder Lyons. So as a unit leader, she can only use 10 units effectively, but gets a boost to paladin attack, speed and defense. But as a army group commanding officer, it's +5. So that's quite interesting. She also starts with the pain trained stat. And then last but not least, let's look at the focus tree. So we're going to start off with the mission. In 2254, the Brotherhood of Steel's ruling council decided to send a contingent of paladins, knights and scribes out to the East Coast with the goal of recovering advanced technology from eastern cities and bases. And I'll get 50 political power. And within a day I have an event, Rise of the Super Mutants. For years the super mutant threat to the capital wasteland was kept in check by Lyons' Brotherhood of Steel. Following a split in their ranks with many of their veteran soldiers abandoning the order to pursue different goals, the diminished Brotherhood chapter has found containing the super mutant threat more difficult. This could very well be the beginning of a difficult time for everyone in the capital wasteland. The dark times ahead, so monthly population down by 1%, another 5% of division attrition, -3 to stability, and -5 to my surrender limit. So that's the mission completed. Now, the focus tree is a bit sparse, but it's actually not too bad. On the left here we have all about restoring and improving the citadel, getting some bonuses. The good fight is all about strengthening some of our borders. And then we have Project Purity, which focuses on our inevitable with the war with the enclave. So that means it gives me a bit of room to play with. So because I am here to protect Washington DC, I'm going to start off with justifying on these cannibals on my border. We'll have none of that in the DC wasteland. That's 100 days. And then my next focus, the citadel. When the expedition reached the capital wasteland, they discovered the Pentagon. This pre-war military facility suffered heavy damage in the war and time since. However, the sub-levels remain mostly untouched. With some repairs, this would become the Brotherhood's base on the East Coast. And I'll get another 50 political power. Alright, so I have my new mission. Now, Project Purity, I have to wait until the enclave owns it. The good fight is not that important to me right now, so I want to start off with the citadel restoration. Now, this will cut my construction speed by 50% and my factory output by 25%, but that will be cancelled when I get to the end, so I want to bulldoze through these focuses as fast as I can. So the citadel, though mighty, is still far from the home it could be. Several underground levels are cut off due to rubble, archives remain untouched, and damaged equipment is left lying around. It will take some effort, but we can rectify this and make the citadel a true fortress. Okay, now I have decided that I'm going to go down the center leg first so I can get the extra research slots. So starting off with scouring archives, Plenty of computer systems and mainframes have been left offline, both to save power and because we never had time to go through them all. We should refocus on digging through this data. Who knows what we may find. And my research speed is going to go up by 5%, which is great when you only have 3 research slots. Now I also have enough command power to promote Elder Lyons to be my commanding officer. And then I now have my naval base built, so I will be constructing of my canoes and convoys. Just going to do 3 for now. That is more than enough. And let's see who I get as an operative. Now they'll be primarily used for just bringing down resistance, but it couldn't hurt to get something else. I'm going to go for Braxton Brady here. Got both linguistic and smooth talker. So that's scouring archives completed. Next will be old schematics. There are plenty of locked file cabinets and old safes we have not cracked open. Shifting through these could yield some useful information. So 50% bonus to land doctrine and another one for fire team technology. I am going to stop training my units because I'm about 2 or 3 weeks away from declaring on these cannibals. And I have enough command power now to hire another field commander. I'm gonna go with, let's go with Chapman over here. Okay, 16. Hopefully I don't end up with lone wolf or anything like that. Skilled, perceptive, and enduring. That is a nice combination. But I still don't have enough command power to assign any traits. They'll just have to wait until I have enough. So just about to finish setting up my Brotherhood Navy. So I've got Admiral with Old Guard, so gains experience but less. Naval air attack, but he does come with a trait I can assign to him later. My justification is also completed, so I'm going to give old Chapman over here Pain Train to boost my power armor. And then I've noticed a severe lack of enemy troops along the border with me. So I'm going to take a chance and start my declaration on the next people that need to be rid from the DC wastelands, and that will be the raiders. So there we go. 210 days, and let me go to war. Alright, so far I'm facing absolutely no resistance. I'm going to change my garrison template to the light robot division. I should really rename that something else. And not a single enemy. There's one. Okay, all schematics is finished. Let me get my research slot. Research facilities. While the main research lab of the Citadel has been restored, there are other smaller labs that could prove themselves if we put effort into fixing them, and that will get me my extra research slot. So I finally found some enemies to fight. I'm just going to do manual this one unit through. No, I don't want... Okay, I'm just going to reassign this unit here, and just this one here can take all this land that needs to be done. And this infantry can just go straight down there. Or it seems that the cannibals only have 2 units. I have very little information on them, but they are not standing up against the might of the Brotherhood. Now I'm going to use this political power to get the CAS manufacturer, because I'm already researching the motorized flight to get my CAS. Oh, I've got 2 awards already. Let's just end this quickly. Send him in there. You can also scout to see if there's any other units that they might not be using. And that research facility is done as well. So next I'm going to go for, this one says robot storage. I'm hoping that means I get some more robots to help with my garrison. So first of all, clearing the sub-levels. While some of the low levels are accessible, many are blocked by rubble and debris from damage and centuries of neglect. If we clear these passageways, who knows what we may find. And I get an event, unlikely places. And for this research slot, I am going to start on my refined warfare doctrine. Let's finish these cannibals off. And it's all over. So, select all mine now. I'm going to set Lyons Pride to go against the DC Raiders. They can start training again, as I only got 1 single point of army experience from that entire little conflict, and it is time to put my agent to work, bringing down resistance. Alright, unlikely places. While clearing the levels beneath the citadel, some scribes came across what looked like a simple storage closet. To their surprise, the closet was full of crates upon crates of circuit boards and other electrical components. We already began using the newly discovered equipment in our refurbishment efforts. Cool, 6 resources there. Then sub-level 1 restoration. The first level we have cleared appears to be a pre-war weapons testing lab. Restoring the facility would boost our weapons research dramatically, and a 75% research bonus to infantry weaponry. And then I have a good amount of command power now, so 2 traits I can choose for Elder Lyons. The first I'm going to go through is Savage Leader to get the extra breakthrough. I'm going to leave this one open, so when she does pick up a land trait, I can get Improvisation Expert. And as for my Admiral, I will be giving him, the only option I can take is Cruiser Captain. It'll give my medium ships extra 10% naval speed and damage. So that's sub-level 1 restored. Now to restore sub-level 2. The second level we cleared appears to be little more than a storage warehouse. It will take some time to sort through all of what that is contained here, but the treasure contained within looks promising. I'm hoping that it's a bunch of robots, because I am short 514 support robots, and I have been forced to take everything I can spare off production of my military equipment to pump into building some scrap robots. Now with my next batch of political power, I was originally thinking of either going for something like more division attack or something to increase my construction speed, but to help push my units out a bit faster, I'm going to lower from veteran training instructors down to mercenary training instructors, so I'll get an extra 10% reduction on my training time. This will drop my organization and my justifying gold time slightly, but I believe it is worth it. And then I have finally 5 army experience, so I'm going to add 1 unit of infantry on to bring it up to an 8th width. And then something I've noticed that I need to be careful of, I do not have the normal bunker blues national spirit that most Brotherhood of Steel get, so I don't have the massive increase to my heavy special forces. I can currently field 50, so I need to keep that in mind for my paladin units, and it may mean I have to go into getting some tanks later on for some breakthrough units. Okay, finally, let me find out what is in this robot storage. While most of the sub-level storage was office supplies and the occasional bits of tools, we did find a surprising amount of backup robots in the storage. We could start fielding them to help supplement our defenses or scrap them for parts. Take them apart? No. Oh, I need those robots, so 150 commercial protection robots, because I am short 693. Now for the last side of this tree, first of all, the scrap. Plenty of equipment and furniture beyond repair are just left lying around this facility. We should assign some scribes to cataloguing and scrapping what we cannot repair. So, more resources for me in the citadel. So I've got myself some more scrap. Now to move on to salvaging weapons. During the search through the heaps of rusted equipment, the scribes found some weapons that can still be restored. 250 units of common weaponry. They'll be very helpful. Okay, so that is Motras flight finished. Now, as much as I would love to get started on my triplane attacker, I really need to make my robotic garrison as good as it possibly can, and by going to commercial protectron, my suppression, well, I'll actually get some suppression on my robots, so that'll be the first 151 days. So with salvaging weapons completed, I want to get onto salvaging power armor. Just when we thought we had salvaged every suit of power armor we could from the citadel, the scribes found some crates of old parts. With these we could fix up a few more suits that were originally going to be scrapped, and I get 100 suits of T45D power armor. Now I'm going to stop training my units for the upcoming war against the DC runes, and I didn't want to do this, but for numbers, I believe I need to deploy the units that I have, even though they are not fully equipped with anti-tank rifles, and I'm just going to set them to train for a little bit, as the war should be kicking off in less than a month. Alright, my justification against the DC Raiders is finished. Now I want to give my troops as much of an advantage as possible, so I'm going to hire Ambrose King for plus 5% division attack. And even though I am close to 1,000 robots short, I am going to declare war on the DC Raiders, and we'll see how this goes. Alright, finally, so salvaging power armor is done. That gave me extra 100 units of 45D. Now a true citadel, which will most importantly get rid of my construction speed and factory output debuff, as well as give me one infrastructure and an outpost. The citadel has grown exponentially over the last months. Defenses are shored up, facilities restored, and soldiers patrol with newly refurbished equipment. This crumbling ruin has finally become a fortress we can be safe in. And my units to the south here are saying they don't have enough organization to advance. That's fine, I'll leave them there. In the north, on this one-on-one here, they are doing quite well. Alright, I was trying to sneak a unit into Evergreen Mills here to take their capital, but unfortunately I got intercepted along the way. I'm still feeling quite confident about everything in general, but this is just going to take a lot longer than it did against the cannibals down here. And finally a true citadel is completed, so that will take away all those debuffs. So now I want to get the good fight for 25 political power. Our struggle for the people of this capital wasteland has not gone unnoticed. Across the waste, many sing our praises and some flock to our gates, hoping to join in what Three Dog calls the good fight. There is a good fight going on right now. Unfortunately, it's very unclear who is currently actually winning. But I have got a trait I can add on here, so I'm going to add on Mysterious Stranger, so I can give my infantry increase attack and defense. Alright, the good fight is completed, so now I'm going to move on to... No, not the source. Let me go for mall outposts. So I'll get 2 outposts in the mall. The National Mall is a major strategic point in downtown DC. While we have some soldiers stationed at the Washington Monument, they are constantly under super mutant threats. We need to beef up our defenses there. And then with this extra political power, there is... I have no idea why I have this artillery attack and defense specialist here. Army logistics I don't need right now, so instead I'm going to focus on building up or speeding up my construction. And even I don't like doing this while I'm fighting, I need to get my night patrol up to a 10 width so I can fight more effectively. Now I do not have a sufficient weaponry, so I'm going to have to go buy some from the gun runners, and I'm going to get the best I can afford, which is only pipe weapons. And I can't even buy that because I have -5 opinion. Okay, some tough times ahead. Alright, my troops have taken Evergreen Mills, and even just taking their capital has taken them all the way 79% towards capitulation. So hopefully one more victory point will do the trick. I will try snake a unit through if I can, but I do seem to be outnumbered 9 to 7. So that might be difficult, but I'll do the best I can. Alright, so I've got some outposts set up in the mall. Now I want to do the National Archive. In the National Mall, there is a building of great significance, the National Archive. When our position in the mall was weaker, we could not spare the men to fight through their defenses, but now we should be able to launch a full expedition into those ruins. So we'll see what that event gives us. And I seem to be finally getting these guys on the back foot a little bit. They are suffering quite heavily after losing. They just got Evergreen Mills back. Hopefully I can get that back quite quickly. Yes, they're all the way back up to basically 0 capitulation. Oh, National Archives is finished. Upon entering the National Archives, our scribes were optimistic when they saw the circuitry still online and in place. After using some access codes found in Citadel archives, they were able to ignore the security robots and turrets prowling the lower levels. What they were not expecting, though, was a Protectron thinking himself to be Button Gwinnett. It seemed the robot's only real goal was to protect the Declaration of Independence, and seeing us as US military figures, we were there to relieve him. Okay, leave him on duty and search the rest of the archives. I get 3 research bonuses and some political power. The war's over, you are relieved. Oh, that looks good. And new orders, leave this facility and fight the orange coats. The super mutant presence weakens moderately. Well, I am currently on low super mutant presence, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go the war's over so I can get more commercial protectrons and the land doctrine. Don't really care much about the heavy lifter robots. And next I'm going to do fortify GNR Plaza. From his fortified bunker in the DC hellhole, Three Dog floods the airways with the news of the waste and the story of our struggle. That is really our secondary interest in GNR. Our main use for the facility is as a fortified outpost to launch our operations deep in the DC ruins. Shoring up the defenses could better prepare us to protect the outpost from any super mutant attacks. The mall add 2 outposts. I'm starting to wonder if... Ooh. The Enclave owns Project Purity. Okay. I'm not going to do this now because I'm currently at war with the DC Raiders, but I didn't even see that happening. So the Enclave owns that, and everything else is owned by Rivet City. Okay, this one needs to go quickly. Okay, so I've got Evergreen Mills back. Let's see if I can get Land of the Maidens and push these guys to capitulate. There we are. And it's done. Okay. Finally, okay. I'm going to select all. Should have actually seen if they had a navy first, but oh well, what's done is done. I have another dockyard, which I am going to put on. Might as well just add it here. And I can't believe I didn't push this all the way up to the maximum of 5. Might as well repair my ships as fast as I can. And now I'm going to move all my units onto the border with Project Purity. Alright, so the GNR Plaza has been fortified, and I'm going to end this episode here. If you would like to support this channel and see what happens further on in this playthrough, please consider subscribing to my channel. It helps it out a lot. But until the next time, goodbye.